What are general purpose technologies, and throughout history, why are they so disruptive socially, economically, and psychologically? Well, general purpose technologies are things that spread rapidly throughout society. So they improve over time, and as well, they actually spawn the creation of further inventions. So they enable things to be created from them. The classic example here is steam. So steam power obviously led to the Industrial Revolution, it led to factories, it led to steamships and railway lines. Now, interestingly, general purpose technologies actually take a while to be seen in the productivity statistics. It actually takes a while for systems and institutions to figure out how to use them. For that reason, productivity initially might actually be low, but it's over time you see this productivity gain. Steam power also allowed us to break through the bottleneck of horsepower and human labour. So now machines could actually carry out the labour for us, which obviously drove massive gains in economic growth. For me, though, the most interesting general purpose technology, and one that's perhaps under-discussed, is the printing press. So the printing press was not just a physical technology, it was a social technology. It completely remodeled our relationship to information. So the old institutional gatekeepers of information like the church were undermined. People could now critique religious texts for themselves. But this also might have led to an epistemic crisis, like we've seen in recent years with the internet, because people didn't actually know who to believe or who was the gatekeeper of true information anymore. The old guardrails were taken off, essentially. This might have led to a rise in populism and, interestingly as well, possibly witch trials. So witchcraft existed in Europe for a long time, but it was actually during the early modern period you saw a huge surge in witch trials, with 45,000 witches executed. And a paper from 2 years ago, from 2024, actually found that this might have occurred because of the printing witch hunting manuals. As cities actually started taking action against witches and executing witches with the rise of these manuals, other cities copied. So there was a form of social contagion here that happened because of the printing press. Now, this is important to bear in mind because the printing press is probably one of the best examples of technologies from the past or historical eras that allow us to interpret the present day. And also we have to consider it in terms of AI, because the printing press changed the way we interact with information. So oral traditions declined and society became far more literate. So we have to consider this with AI because it will also probably change the way we interact with the informational environment and how human cognition actually operates.